Alright, welcome to Lua for Absolute Beginners. This is a tutorial aimed at people who have never programmed before. Actually, you don't even need to really be good at computers to follow along with this tutorial. If you've come here, you want to learn an additional programming language, you already know more other programming languages, then this is probably not going to be the tutorial for you because I'm going to be going into detail on basic topics. So if you're still here, then this is going to be the setup video. There are two options for you to follow along. You can either download Lua, install it on your system, or you can just use the web version. So if you go to lua.org and click download, you'll see this page. Under binaries, there's a link to the live demo. So you can run programs here, and you'll be able to use this for the majority of the series. You will eventually need to install it once we get into stuff like files, but just to get an understanding of Lua, this will work for you. The other option is to actually install it, and that is a bit of a process. It's not just clicking on an install file. We actually have to go through a small process. So if you don't want to do that, that's all right. It's better if you do, because then we can install an editor. You'll actually be able to see syntax highlighting, which colors different parts of your code for you. It'll be easier for you to learn if you install it. But if you don't want to install it, you can just use the live demo. So the next part is going to be installing Lua. If you don't want to install Lua, just skip to the end, and that's when we're going to write our first program. But if you do want to install Lua, click Get a Binary here. So binary is actually just a fancy word for program. You don't want to click this download link here because that's going to give you the code for Lua. This is the actual program that we can run. Alright, so you're going to want to look for anything that starts with Lua 5.3. So the most recent one is 5.3.5. Any of the 5.3s will work, but I'm going to go with the most recent one. So click that. Click the big green button here, download latest version, and then just wait 5 seconds. Don't click anything. Now that this box has come up, just click OK or whatever. It might look a little bit different for you depending on what you're using. This just downloads the folder to your computer. So now we can close out of this, and we need File Explorer. So click Downloads on the left-hand side here. You should see Downloads. And there will be something Lua-5.3. something underscore blah blah blah. You're going to want to click on that once, and up here on the Extract tab, click Extract, and then click Extract All. This will come up. This might be checked. This checkbox next to Show Extracted Files When Complete. Make sure you uncheck that because otherwise it's just going to open up another window when it's all done, and that's kind of annoying. So click Extract down here. And now you should have two files here. You should have the one with a zipper on it and one without a zipper on it. We don't need the one with a zipper on it anymore, so you can delete that. And now, on the left-hand panel here, click Local Disk. Actually, before you do that, sorry. Double-click on Lua, the folder that we just created, and you should see all these. There's just four files in here. Select all of them and copy them. All right. Now we're ready to go into the local disk. So on the left-hand side here, click Local Disk, and you should see sort of in the middle here. Maybe it might look a little different. Program Files, not the one with x86. It actually doesn't really matter that much, but you're gonna want to put it in Program Files. All right. So up top here on Home, you're going to want to click New Folder, just like that, and type in Lua. I've already got a Lua folder, so I'm not going to be doing that. If you go into the Lua folder now, the one that you just created, it should be empty. Mine's not. You're going to want to right-click and paste. Okay? So you should see all the files that you had pop up here. And what you're going to want to do is rename one of them. So you should see something named Lua 53 or something like that. Maybe 50, it should be 53. You're just going to want to take the 53 off, just like that. So there's also luac.exe. You don't need to rename that one, just lua.exe. That's the one you need to rename. All right. So what we're going to want to do is up here on this bar that says this PC local disk, click anywhere after the last arrow, so anywhere here. That's going to give you this text, so right click on that and copy that. Now in your start menu, search for the word path, P-A-T-H. And the first result should bring up this menu. Okay? So click environment variables, and you should see one called path. This might look a little bit different for you as well. So what we're going to want to do is click edit. Another window comes up, and you're going to want to click new. And then you paste in what we copied, just like that. You see I already have one, so I don't need to do that. All right, click OK and OK and OK. And then on your start menu, type command prompt. Okay, and this should come up. Now all you need to do is to type Lua, and that should come up. This is the Lua interpreter. This is what's going to actually run our Lua code. Now to get out of that, you type Control and C at the same time. Hold those buttons down at the same time, just like that. If it doesn't work for you, you might need to type lua.exe, like that. And if it still doesn't work for you, you might need to restart. And if that doesn't work, then you probably messed up somewhere along the lines of putting it in your path or putting all the files here. Make sure you renamed lua.exe. All right, so with that, we're actually going to find a good editor to write Lua code in. This is one of the main advantages of installing Lua and not just running it on the web. So the one I like to use is Visual Studio Code. And there's a difference between Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. So you need the code on there. So click on Visual Studio Code. It should look something similar to this. There's a big green download button. Click that, and this one is just a simple install. You click the install, and it does it all for you. You just click next and go through the defaults. All right. So I already have it installed here. What we're going to want to do is on your desktop, so right click on your desktop, make a new folder, just like that. And we'll call it Lua. This is where we're going to keep all of our Lua code. So what you can do is double click in here, and you might need to restart, but this menu right here should have open with code. And if it doesn't, we can just file, open folder, and then on your desktop, there should be Lua, just like that. You select folder. Okay, you can close out the welcome page. Now we're going to make our first program. So all we need to do, if you put your mouse next to Lua here, this is the name of your folder, you can click this new file button. Click that, just type in hello.lua with no spaces and press enter. So now we have a code editor over here. This is where we're going to write our code. Now we're going to start off very simple with something called a hello world. So no caps, type the word print, as in a printer, and then an open parentheses, and it should autocomplete a closed parentheses, but if it doesn't, you need that as well. Now, in between the two parentheses, we're going to type some quotation marks. So put the quotation marks in there. It should give you a pair of them. If it doesn't, you do need 2 quotation marks. And in between those quotation marks, type hello world. Now the capitalization does not matter in between the quotation marks, but it does matter on the print. Okay, so now if we go to view, you should see terminal here. So just click that and make sure you save, file save, or Control S. So if your script is saved, you see the terminal, click down on the terminal to make sure that your mouse is there and type Lua or lua.exe hello.lua. And there we go. That's your first program. Alright, I'll see you in the next tutorial.